Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. This is a tweet that occurred today from Mr. Okita. Mr. Okita is the CEO of the SBI Ripple Asia Partnership. And if you don't follow him on Twitter, you might think about it because he does tweet some very timely points of information in regards to that relationship. So they met a milestone today. SBI was able to announce that they made their 500th billion in yen transfer in an international cross-border remittance. And that was a big deal for them because they even went as far as putting out a press release and giving great mention to Ripple. So let me just read you the highlights in here. So the mission of SBI is to provide the service to foreign residents, and currently foreigners in Japan, the foreigners who reside here, have reached a record high at 2.6 million people, and 450,000 of those foreigners are registered to use the SBI services for cross-border remittances, 90% of which are foreign nationals that are living in Japan. So most of the remittances are mainly from Asian countries: Philippines, China, Vietnam, Nepal, Indonesia, Cambodia, Myanmar. And the remittances are using Ripple's distributed ledger technology, which began with the Siam Commercial Bank in Thailand, which started in June 2017. And it is extremely superior in terms of cost, speed, and economy. So the use of customers has increased remarkably. And in the future, we plan to extend the Ripple channel using the Ripple platform. So good news, huh? We will continue to develop remittance service with high convenience that can respond to various needs of customers by actively incorporating new financial technology. So the fact that they're going to continue to develop the remittance service tells me that they're going to go into more corridors. And the fact that they're going to actively incorporate new financial technology, I think that is talking about XRapid. So if we take a look at who those new corridors might be, first we need to see who's living in Japan. So foreign nationals, this is a very much a growing sector too. It increased 7.5% last year and is expected to have those kind of increases going forward. 51% are women, and 51.8% and 48.2% are men. The three fastest growing countries in terms of nationals coming are from Vietnam, Nepal, and Indonesia. And then if we take a look at the top six in terms of numbers, so in order, China ranks number one, then Korea, Vietnam, Philippines, Brazil, and then Nepal. So I am going to guess that in that top six, there will be a focus of creating some new relationships with banks to provide those remittances as well. All right. Here is a nice little article. It was a mass XRapid rollout could be inspired by XRP exchange liquidity surge. And what I was happy to see is that this article is a breakdown by an XRP community person, HoeDoors, and he does a community blog that's just fantastic. He is quoted as saying that the XRP virtual outlets where you can actually purchase XRP has jumped 300% this year. So less than 1 year ago, I inventoried, this is HoeDoor being quoted. All of the known worldwide exchanges that carried XRP and arrived at approximately 29 exchanges. And recently, I again took inventory of the number of XRP exchanges and entry points, and the number was 105 and growing quickly. So this represents more than a 300% increase in the number of liquidity endpoints in less than a year, with some of the new entrants representing milestones in Ripple's overall XRapid rollout strategy. So HoeDoor, good job sharing this. Here is HoeDoor's blog. I think he's really a wonderful writer. I just can't tell you how I felt when I first read his blog. It really moved me. And one of his favorite words to use is ZERP. He refers to XRP fondly by calling it ZERP, and it's very catchy. Though I've never heard his voice, when I read his articles, I feel like I can just hear him talking. And the actual blog itself has large font with a lot of white space. So for me, it's very comfortable to read. And he kindly will list his sources with active links at the bottom of all the pages. So he's been blogging since I think June of 2017, and there are close to 150 articles on this blog. And I just think if you are into reading well-written material and have an interest of XRP, this is a site you need to know about. I'll put the link in the comment section below. And yesterday, if you remember, I had pointed to the gentleman, Stephen Dieppe, who is tweeting wonderful collection of XRP videos, a whole different array of different people who are talking about XRP, and he really has a great collection of videos. And also he's following closely the development of Stellar with the new IBM partnership and the use of Lumen. So I just want to bring his Twitter site to your attention again, and also just say, hey, Stephen, congratulations, because you made it to my favorite Japanese online news magazine, Coin Tokyo, and they have featured you, and I just don't know if you will have seen it, but it's they gave you great credit, so congratulations on that too. Wonderful. All right. This is the last article, and just quickly, it talks about at least one Indian authority has an open mind about cryptocurrencies. So about 5 hours ago, this article came out, and India's central bank may have shunned cryptocurrencies, but its market regulator is keen on understanding them. So they sent a team, and that team visited Japan and also visited, where else? I think it's Switzerland. Let me just see. So they visited the UK. Okay. And the Swiss Financial Market Supervisor Authority. Yeah, so I guess they visited 3 places to study the initial coin offerings and cryptocurrencies. So this report does not mention when those visits took place, but it's really great that they came here, because I'm just positive the FSA was going to be able to explain to them how they are providing a watchdog role, if you will, and they are very pro crypto here. So I am, looking forward to having India join, because of the sheer size of population. It's going to have a positive impact on market cap for sure. And then if we take a look at the next article, in the Times of India on August 8th, there was a little article about the Japanese ambassador to India in his visit over there. And he says that in his address, that one of the greatest things India has given Japan, or the greatest gift, was Buddhism. So I'm going to go into the fluff now, and I think that this is a nice story. So in Japan, I'm sure if you've been here, you visited many, and if you haven't been yet, you will visit many. There are more than 77,000 temples in Japan. Kyoto alone, which is one of the most well-preserved because it didn't incur a lot of damage during World War II, and also it's the ancient capital of Japan. It has 2,000 temples alone, just in that one city. And you're going to find that some of them are on the UNESCO World Heritage Site, like this one here. And I just wanted to talk about my favorite one that I have visited 3 times, and it's this one here. I am just, I don't know, each time I go, I like it even better than the last time I went. You know, the temples are used for lots of various reasons. It's one of the most popular places that kids go to on a date, believe it or not. Teenagers, especially. And it's used at New Year's, of course. There's festivals. People go to pray, people go to meditate, people go to enjoy the nature. Most of these temples are very green, have a lot of trees and sometimes manicured gardens, sometimes just totally in a natural state, but just feels so great when you get out of the concrete and walk into the grounds of a temple. It just feels wonderful. And then, of course, some of them, also the larger ones, will also assist in performing weddings, and some also have funerals. If there are, well, it depends on the size, actually. So when you go to one, the architecture is always different, and there is a different patron. So studying the history of the temple is very interesting. And most of the temples have a great collection of artifacts. So this is my favorite one. It's Kiyomizu Temple in Kyoto. It sits on a very tall peak called the Higashiyama mountain peaks. So when you go, it's quite a hike. And it's not hiking on a path. You're going up steps, but it's quite up there. And every time you get up there, the view is so expansive and so great that it's worth the effort. So this temple actually was founded in the it was founded 1,200 years ago. Yeah. And they have kind of a mantra, if you will: live day to day expressing gratitude, finding compassion in your everyday deeds. So it's very much focused on always being grateful and providing that sense of compassion for everybody around you in your very simple everyday life. On December 12th, I just want to show you, this is the temple during sunset, just dusk, actually. Here it is in the fall. You can see the fall color is really spectacular. And here it is in the spring with the cherry blossoms, which is called sakura. It's very, very pretty in all the seasons, but I think particularly, I don't know, for me, I think the fall is particularly nice. So on December 12th, at the temple, the head monk, Mr. Mori, uses his brush and ink to show the kanji of the year. And that kanji is written to symbolize what made up the year. So usually it's about news events, actually. And the one that was given this last year on the 12th, so 2017, we don't do another one until 2018. So for the year of 2017, it was wrapped up with the kanji kita. And kita means north. And the reason why, and he always gives an explanation after the kanji is revealed, the reason why, there was actually 4 reasons why. So the first one was because North Korea was in the news a lot. Also, northern Kyushu had a big trouble with rain, and they experienced some disasters, and some people lost their lives. There was also a very rare occurrence where one of the typhoons hit the North Island of Hokkaido, just unheard of. We are seeing changing weather here a lot. And the fourth one was Shohei Ohtani, who played on a baseball team in the north of Japan, on the northern island. He transferred to the California Angels. So those were the reasons he cited for choosing this kanji, kita, for 2017. Everybody looks forward to it, and it's kind of a big deal when it's done. Okay, everybody, that's it. That's all I have for you today. And sayonara for now. Alrighty, bye-bye.